We're gonna pull this up.
Preparing. Enhance. Enhance.
Just print the damn thing.
They think I'm Mexican. Wait,
You're not
I
Mexican.
am. I am. Sam,
I'll
I
take a
am.
chinchilla. Take a chinchilla.
Vámonos.
We are here once
there it is.
again. Let me make sure I hit these right buttons because I'm going to screw something up. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, I don't talk too soon. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, now I got to pop out the chat. See if I can get that going. I hope everybody's well tonight. I don't know. Yeah, see, that's a weird window right now. I don't know why it does this. Do you see a chat on your screen?
Yeah.
Do you really? Now what the hell happened here?
There's a few of us in here, but it only shows one.
All right, I don't want to close this window because I think that might screw this up.
Go catch up.
Yeah, it might.
There's 59 in here right now.
Yeah, it'll catch up.
Why does this always mess up on me?
Zoodad texted me today.
Yeah, we'll talk about Zoodad's debacle he's got going on. I feel bad for him. Of like all things to happen. Of all things to happen, one, you're not getting your truck. And two,
At least it's warrantable.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
If they can get the parts that we talked about that.
They
That
can
is
get
true.
the parts. Just
They
how
can.
bad do they want to get them?
There we go. I just refreshed the page and now I got my chat. Like, I don't know why I did that, do that. If you guys have been following the channel, we've had Zoodad, the Forescan king, of all things Forescan. He has suffered a CP4 failure, which is freaking awful. So we're trying to get him all fixed up and down the right road to get his beast back up. What up, BP? But what is front and center tonight, just as of a couple hours, KTP, Kentucky Truck Plant. You guys are on strike and nobody is going to be getting their Super Duty. And what do you feel about that? I get at least a few during the week where I'll get a text or email and people saying, hey, I just got red word from Ford and my stuff's getting built, I'm so excited, blah blah. What up, Robert? Well, that's not gonna be happening. That's not good. I don't know how long this is gonna go on. I know they had the Dearborn truck plant, or where they make the Bronco closed down. And that's ultimately going to start trickling down to the dealer. We were just talking here on the pregame. Ford boss was saying that it's starting to trickle down to the dealership side, where the union techs are actually going on strike as well, and that's pretty huge, because if you're not selling cars and you're not fixing cars, that's not good for the dealer at all. Howdy. What up, Dave F76? We have a new box filled here on the show. If you guys have been checking out the other mechanics on the YouTubes, Fluffy Mexicanic, he is specializes in Nissan. If you got any Nissan questions, you can hit him up in the comments. But we're happy to have him. We're just talking trucks, talking cars, talking automotive, and like I said, the big thing right now with the strike going on with the big three. I don't know, in the Nissan world. I mean, I know it's not really the big three, but are you seeing any like weird part issues or anything from suppliers as a result of this at all, or not really?
No, we haven't got affected much.
Yeah. It kind of scary. I mean, obviously for me now being on the outside, I don't know what's going on at the dealer and how parts are being distributed, but at the tail end, it was one of the parts depots around here had shut down and was not, any next day parts you couldn't get. So that's definitely not good. And being a fleet customer, being person who uses a truck, how are you going to tell? You just got this brand new. We went over this with CP, brand new 23. We've gotten how many? How many we get, CP? Like at least 4 or 5 reports, people on the channel that have had the 23s with the DEF pump, and you couldn't get the DEF pump. You
I've
go to the
had,
next level and get the DEF
4
whole
or
DEF
5.
tank. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Well, now you also have the 22 to 20 to 22s that you can't even get long blocks for. And when you do, you get a 23 long block and they're not even assembled right. So,
Gotta love it.
and they're telling you to tap the bolts and the crankshaft because the people didn't freaking tap them deep enough.
Well, we got Meat Man Matt in here. He says we overstocked about almost everything. Well, he called me. It was a couple weeks ago, I think, and he was putting in a new 6.7 and was wondering, he's like, don't these come with oil filter adapters? I'm pretty sure they are. And it wasn't about, I don't know, day later. I was talking with CP's Garage and he had said that, on a forum we found there was actually something misbuilt with the crank
thread-
dampener bolts,
Flex plate bolts.
flex plate bolts. So, no transmission on the back of the engine. You got the rear back of the crankshaft, and then the 10 bolts that hold the flywheel, the ring gear, to the back of the motor. Those bolt holes in the crank were not machined all the way long enough, so the bolt, I'm assuming, was not sitting flush and holding that flywheel to the. So I don't think I would want to drill. Now, mind you, I would be trying to stand on some sort of crate, or I guess you'd have the engine out, or I don't know what you'd be doing, but
I'd shave
I
the
don't-
bolt down.
I don't know if I'd have confidence in myself to be as perpendicular as I can to drill into this crankshaft. I don't.
Well, luckily, it looks like the holes are deep enough, but they did not tap it deep enough. So it's just running the tap it deeper.
Meat Man Matt says, I got lucky with that long block. It was before they made the running change with the oil pan and screwed up the machining crank. Yep. Hi, Ray, longtime viewer from Malaysia. Hey,
Malaysia, it's long range.
welcome.
Well,
Thanks
the good
for,
thing about
Thanks for
the
coming
good thing
through.
the good thing about it is at least now you don't have to take the engine out to get the oil pressure solenoid
Why is that?
because it's on the oil filter housing.
Oh, they changed it again. Oh,
And the 23 is
really?
on the oil filter housing.
So the upper oil pan's different again then? Come on. Did they go back to the previous style,
it's-
obviously, or is it still different?
It's still different. It's
Still gasket?
Yeah, still a gasket, but I mean it's different.
Anybody in the comments or is watching? I'm trying to engage you guys right now. What up, Skidoo? What up, Himney? King Ranch. Zeke, Brian, what up? What up?
Lift hang up.
I guess so.
Oh.
What Yeah, anybody who's taken delivery of these new 23s, Centennial, so far so good. Any taking delivery of these trucks, have you guys had to take it back to the dealer immediately after delivery? I'm talking, let's say within the first 500 miles. I've had two. One had 600 miles and one had just turned 1,200 miles. And both of them, one which I made a video on was the dash that had to come out of that Tremor. And the other one was a dash as well, but it was a lower, I think it was XLT, and didn't have a center console, which was fine. So I didn't have to pull the whole interior out like I did the Tremor. But if we are going to be having continued issues with this truck and being built because of all these different things going, like we had to worry about COVID, and now inequality with all that, and I had to address that in a short, last week, talking about, would you rather have a truck that was pre or be post that time frame? And it's like, now you're getting into this. We were talking about this before, we got on, where people who are on strike may not be having the best interests of doing their job and are going to be building a subpar product, and are going to have, we find extra, I got a vehicle, do a PDI, and there was an extra driver's seat module in the back, under the back seat. What the fuck is this? Why? How? What? Everything worked on that truck, and it was just I don't know how, I don't know where it came from. I mean, the truck was just built. But I don't think that just replacing cracked windshields. I think I would rather have a pre-pandemic for sure. If that's what kind of people are saying here. Pre-pandemic, yep.
Pre-Super Duty.
Pre-Super Duty. I don't know. I think I would. I don't want to go
Nope.
back
OBS.
that far.
OBS.
Hey, Aaron, is it just the Tremor that's having the EVAP core problem?
No, I did a non-tremor one.
Because I have somebody that works for the same company that I do. He's got a 23 Tremor, high output. His EVAP core is bad.
I would see if either he has the ability to hook a scan tool up, or if you could, or if you could
I
get more
can.
scan. Monitor the EVAP temp sensor
Mhm.
and see if that thing stays at like 50 degrees. And
Okay.
what I was finding after the truck was running for about 20-25 minutes, the AC line that you can directly see through the passenger wheel well was just ice. I mean, like this was the AC line. There was that much ice around the AC line. Like,
It's frozen
whoa, what is
so-
that?
So the temp
Mhm.
sensor is not reading correctly.
AC just running and running and running, running and running. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hook the scan tool up to it tomorrow and monitor that.
Oh,
But he did say something about
Cababosa.
using def.
Chief
you guys
Edward, I'm
think?
at. Huh?
What do you guys think about these UAWs wanting more money, but at the same time building a subpar product?
It just all depends on who you talk to. If you talk to UAW workers, you got, the big portion of them that they want to stand behind the product that they put out, but they can't do it because they say, well, if you're giving us inferior products, how's it up to us to make the product better? But actually building the truck a specific way, yeah, there are lazy people. Yeah, some of us have to make up for those lazy people that don't do their job, and the union protects them. That's one of the downfalls to
Exactly.
being in a union is the unions. There's a place for them. Maybe I strongly believe maybe 20 years ago, but now anymore, I don't necessarily care for unions too much. And the reason I say that is because I see people all the time busting their butt, really trying to make an honest living, and their other coworkers and stuff that work with them not doing their job, not carrying their weight, and the union protects those people. And other people have to do twice the amount of work, if not more, to make up for it. And they don't get more money. They don't get more recognition. They're just another number on the line while everybody else slacks off. So it is what it is. I don't like it. I think some of the demands are a little outlandish. That the whole 5 days paid in 4 and 10% raise a year. And then
I thought it
people,
was 3 days. They work 3, they get paid for 4.
it was 5. It was 5 work days paid in 4.
Uncle
Oh.
Fester said something good. It's the times. Expectations aren't high. And that's really right. That's kind of across the board. There's expectations not just for what we're talking about. It's freaking everywhere. Commercial, retail, going to the grocery store. It's freaking everywhere. And it is, yes, definitely at times.
Well, an interesting point Ford Boss said is 20 years ago, things would be a lot different. I remember when I started in the Ford for the first time, walking into that line and seeing some of those senior people that had 20 years in the company. When I started on my first day, it was pretty interesting. Like adults working on the assembly line, freaking flip phone, talking on the phone. I'm sitting here thinking like, this is an old dude whipping out a flip phone. And that group of people is very different from the group of people that was there when I left the company. I mean, it was all younger people. At that time, when you were a team leader on that line, that meant you had 15 to 20 years inside of that company and you knew what you were doing. Now, you could be a team leader inside the company with like 2 years experience, young, running around chasing girls. You never wanted to really be the team leader. You wanted to try to chase some chick and play games all day and not actually. So, you can blame the worker. I'm going to put the blame on the company because they're the ones that don't have the standards in place when it comes to picking. Like, for example, I pick on a team leader because that's an important position. That's the person who the buck stops with the team leader. All these repairs that are getting out of the line, that should be caught and repaired 90% of the time by the team leader, unless somehow something nefarious is happening and somebody on that line is just messing something up and doing it in a way where it can get out of the system. There's
who
no
holds him
way.
accountable? Who holds that guy accountable?
It should be. Well, you mean the team leader who holds the team leader accountable?
Who holds the team leader accountable to make sure he's making sure his guys are doing their job?
Well, it's supposed to be the supervisor. It's
Okay,
supposed to be the supervisor, but then you have an issue when you have a really young supervisor that doesn't know what he's doing, and then you have a team leader that's freaking got 2 years. And I could be a team leader because I've been working on stuff my whole life. Like I can go and fix stuff on the line. I can go and do certain things. I can use tools, but they'll put a person in team leader that don't know how to use tools, they don't know nothing about nothing, and they'll let them do a team leader, and they don't know any. They don't have any altitude at all. They're not inclined mechanically at all. And not that you need to be a master mechanic or nothing to work on a line, but at least have some basic understanding of how to do some basic stuff. So, I remember no BS. I worked on that line. I did team leader position for a little while, and they give you a password to certify that a vehicle is repaired. Like you go and fix it. Like something doesn't get torqued correctly or secured correctly, and it gets put into the computer. And after you secure it correctly, you have to go in there and punch in a code and let the system know that you're signing off on it, that you fix that, and it's good to go out to the customer. Well, I had a screwed up team that sent freaking 100,000 repairs that they were rolling out of my shop to the next shop, and I just couldn't catch them all. And they were like, run over to the other side of the plant and fix everything. Well, it got so bad to where the stuff was not getting fixed. And at that point, they had to pull those vehicles to the side, not go to the final line or the final shipping, and get parked until they can get fixed. And the supervisor came up to me and told me that I had to use my code to buy everything off and certify it's fixed and worry about fixing it later. And I wouldn't do it. Like I just said, no, dude, I'm not doing it. So this guy sat up here and followed me around the plant and like harassed me. This guy harassed me, yelling at me. I'm like fixing stuff. Like what happened, like someone goes on medical leave, they go to the doctor, and I got all these repairs leaving out, but I've been on the line for 4 hours. So there's situations where it's impossible for you to make the repairs. Well, this guy sits up there and tells me to buy this stuff off for the whole day, yelling at me. I'm ignoring this guy. And finally, his superior was at the end of the line. And I was like, do you know this guy is following me around and telling me to buy all this stuff off? And the superior was like, dude, you cannot do that. And the supervisor that was telling me to do it, he goes, yeah, you can't do that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, you mother.
I mean, the stories that I'm hearing when I talk about this stuff from people that work there are a lot of UAW workers that don't support everything that's going on. A lot of them do because once you get into that whole, you've been in the union most of your life, you start falling in that whole cult-like mentality where it's one for all for one for all type of thing. And it's like, no. I mean, if you're going to stand up for what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, then do that. But I get these sentiments, these people that they think they're doing something by saying, well, I support all unions and I support no matter what, right or wrong. And I'm like, okay, that's your right to do that. Well, let's make some sense of the situation. When the buck gets passed off to the consumer and the consumer is you, and you're the one having to pay for lack thereof, are you going to be happy with that at the end of the day? I don't think so. So you're the same person that is fighting for something that you're actually, if you were being honest, you're against, and you won't admit it. So there's a lot of backdoor grab ass stuff going on. There's something with this whole union thing. There's something going on that's way more than what we realize.
I mean, it's always about money.
That's what it is.
We're talking a lot of money. You see what they said, what the estimated losses are, economic losses for this region and being automotive is like $3 billion or something, or
They said they're expecting it to reach up to close to five to, I don't know what it is by the time all of this is over. It's ridiculous, man. It's, I want what's right for the employee, but also at the same time, let's be real here. There's other shit going on.
I'll get really real. I want to say something that's I probably shouldn't. We're all in a twist over what, $3 billion. Oh, no, the automakers lost $3 billion. Yeah, over here we gave away like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions. We just keep giving money away. We're over here tripping over like, oh man, we lost $3 billion last week because everybody's mad about wages. And
meanwhile, we sent $6 billion somewhere.
Yeah, it's like we need to we have
because you know why though? Because we can talk about that, we can reason with that, we can understand what people want and feel and things in that area. But the extreme that you're talking about, the other way that we really should be focusing on, that we really should be getting answers on, they're so blind and they're like sheep and they're just like, oh, I'm not going to ask questions. You have half of us are like, what the fuck is going on? And then the other half is like, oh, I trust the government. They're going to do what's best for me. So it's no matter what, it's a lose-lose when it comes to the politics and where we're sending money versus like our workforce and like something that directly affects us.
JM Synthetics has a good question. He says, serious question for those smarter than me. What's stopping the auto companies from saying, screw unions and start hiring direct like every other major corporation.
Probably
I
the
think
fact
it-
that they can't do everything all at one time right now. And who's to say that they won't do that?
That's
Who's
true.
to say that that's not in the works? Give them what they want for a little bit and then start thinning out the herd because we know that we can't sustain it.
Well, part of the problem that you have with the quality right now is a very, very high turnover. It's not just union and they're letting people get away with what it's. I can tell you from being there, it is also the turnover that they go through. But
Yeah.
could you imagine them basically turning over their entire workforce all at once? Like Fort Boss is saying, they can't do that all at once.
No, they can't even get people in under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys think that the workforce is bad in the repair industry, and in my case, the parts industry and all these other industries, the auto manufacturers are not immune to that. They feel the same pressure
What up,
Yeah.
I do cars?
going on.
DS, it hasn't been realistically that long since you've been out of the dealer. Okay. You worked there for, let's say, 10 years. Okay. It was like, what, a little over 9 years that you worked there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you worked there for 10 years. What, out of the 10 years, so you're a full UAW member, paying dues. Now that you're not there, how would you describe the morale when you get to work? Was it an anxiety filled like first day of school? Were you happy to go to work? Were you proud to go to work, or was it, what am I going to deal with today? Or what was the morale being
It
a
depends.
UAW member?
It depends on the time. Toward the end, the morale was good. Toward the end, we launched this new truck. I was so happy to be part of that launch, to see the new instrument panel and having a part of putting everything together. And like how they say, they're going to replace them with robots. Man, they throw all those parts kind of at people, and people kind of figure it out. I mean, yes, they write it all down and they plan it all out and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but people figure it out, the feel of the parts, all that good stuff. So toward the end, dude, I was up in there sweeping the floors, putting together a new truck. I was the tag relief guy, which was a good job for me, for my type of personality. But I that took years to get to that point. Like there was times where I would walk in there like not in good shape, depending on the situation. Whether one time I just quit out of nowhere. One time I went into work. I got to the turnstile where you like buzz in, and I just got there, got ready to buzz in. I turned around. I went home for like 3 or 4 months. I just left because it was so bad.
Did you go back to work?
What was that?
Did you go back to work?
After like 3 months or so, 3, 4 months, I went back.
And what happened with that? Like you just walked in and clocked in?
I just walked in. I went to buzz in because I didn't buzz in for so long. After so long, your card don't work. If you don't buzz in for some amount of days, your card don't work. So I went to buzz in, and it was like, you can't get in here. I'm not gonna tell you how I got in. It's probably not smart to even tell you how I got in because people are gonna be walking in. So I got in some kind of way, and then I went down to the union hall and was like, I got fired a while back. What'd you do? Like, I just didn't come back. And the guy, it was election time, so it was the perfect time. The guy was like, all right, we're going to get you back in here. Blah, blah, blah. And then they told me, like, dude, here's the deal. You can come back. You're an attendance program for 1 year. You cannot be late. You cannot miss work.
An attendance program.
And I was like, oh, okay. Hey,
And I'd have just went in there and be like, yo, my badge don't work. Can you reactivate it?
So what are they
probably-
paying? What are they paying these guys at the UAW?
I don't fuck.
Right. What's the
I
current
started
pay?
off at 15
Some of
an hour at the time.
Some of them are 15 to 17. Yeah.
But here's the thing: when I got back in, they were like, we're gonna print your record. If you're a good worker, whatever, you can get in. Dude, they printed my record. It was so long and it was so bad that it just rolled out and it was just as tall as me. All the crap that I had done, I'm looking at it like, oh my goodness. Like I was like thinking, there's no way they're gonna let me back in here. And it brought back all the memories of why I freaking left in the first place. Like, oh my goodness. Like the paper it was all like one paper. It was as big as me. It was just from my height down to my feet. And basically what happened is one of the supervisors got mad at me. He thought that I was freaking hitting on his girlfriend, which I wasn't. I was doing that team leader job that I was talking about. And this girl was like a plant superstar type of girl, but she wasn't my type. She wasn't my type of girl. We were just friends, like nothing. There was nothing there, zero. And she asked me for a favor one day to like go to the bathroom or something during lunch, like take 20 minutes and combine it with the 30-minute lunch. I'll be gone for 50 minutes or something stupid. And I was, dude, I'm telling you, anybody asks me for something, bro, I say yes. If I can do it, I will do it. So I let her take like a 20-minute longer lunch. The supervisor found out, he caught wind of it, and he came up to me because the girl didn't even come back from lunch. She totally took advantage. Like she never came back. I tried to cover for her. So he comes back. He goes, "Where's Ashley?" I go, "I don't know. She didn't come back from lunch." He goes, "Oh, you let her go to the bank and you let her do this and that." And I'm like, I didn't even know that. So I don't know how you knew that. Turns out he's dating her, and he found out that I did a little favor for her. So he got mad at me. Bro, they stripped me off a team leader. This guy started going off on me, bro, yelling at me. He took me off, and he didn't even have the seniority. Like he pulled somebody else and didn't have enough seniority. So he found somebody with more seniority. I was on the radio. I'm calling, not a radio call public, and everybody in the plant can hear. I'm calling like Aaron. Come and see me. I won't even say his name. I probably shouldn't.
Hey, that
He goes,
paper that they printed out, was that like your whole time there? Is like everything? Is that what you're saying? The
I think-
report?
I don't know if it was my whole time there, but it was my time there. There was enough of my time. It might have been. I don't know. But
So what you're
Raphael
saying
know
is
what you're
it could've been
talking about.
longer. It could've
oh,
been
is he in
longer.
here? He probably
That's
knows who I'm
funny.
talking about.
Yeah, he
So-
said R.I.P.
So he caught wind of it. I'm calling on the radio. I'm embarrassing this guy. I'm calling on the radio so everybody can hear. Come see me at my station right now. I'm working on the line calling this guy. He's trying to ignore me. Finally, he walks up to my station, freaking grabs the radio from the station, snatches the radio. Just give me that radio. And I start yelling at him. He starts yelling at me. I swear this guy balls up his fist at me. And I got so mad. I was like, he's about to
Better not do it.
get paid. I just turned around. I turned my back at him and I just wouldn't talk to him. I just wouldn't look at him. I was so angry. So after that, I was just like real upset because I had worked so hard at that team leader job. I had worked so hard. And the day before, all the people above him, all his managers were like, "Sean, we really noticed that you're really starting to do a good job at this team leader. Like the first couple of days, we were a little bit worried because it was the first time doing it. But now after about a month, you're doing a real good job." And then he got mad at me. He started making up all this stuff and saying all this stuff. And they all turned on me and they were like, "You are messing everything up." And I was like, you know what? Here's the deal. I'll give you the keys to everything back. Because I had the key. I could have took all the vent tags, the ones that are nice, the sticker ones that just started. I had access to all those. I had all this stuff. I was like, take your key, put me on a job. I'll never do nothing for you ever again. Just put me on a job. Don't ever ask for nothing. Don't even ask me to do nothing. So that's what I did. I just went on a job and freaking didn't move. Like I wouldn't do nothing. I just did that one job. But for a full year after that, that supervisor freaking wrote me up so many times. Before this, I have never, ever, ever, ever been written up. So when you ask, hey, was that your whole time at the company? My whole time at the company, I had never been written up for years, for like 3, 4, I don't even know, 4 years. I never had a write up, never had an issue. But what ended up happening is the guy working next to me was so high and so doped up and was causing so many problems that he was shutting down the whole plant. And he was just like, just frozen in time. Like he was just stuck. He just couldn't work. He couldn't function. He was that high. And they couldn't write him up no more because they would have had to get rid of him. So they started writing me up for all his stuff. And that's how my list got so long. And it got so bad that me and the supervisor would just go at it every single day of the week. I was walking off of that line so much and just doing so much just shit. I was just like, he would be walking down the line this way, and then I'd see him walking, and then I would go to the bathroom or something, and I would just be laughing the whole time, like, that line's going down because I'm not even there. And what was happening is like I would pull the light and stuff and wait like an hour. You're only supposed to wait like 15 minutes. I would wait like an hour, then walk off. And I only have to wait 15 minutes or something to walk off, but I would just walk off. And it would shut the whole thing down. And I would go back. He'd be like, man, why'd you leave? But then he was writing me up for all this guy who was all doped up. He was writing me up for all his stuff. And it just got like, we just went at it for a year, over a year. And one day, it got so bad that he came up to me. The guy started getting, messing everything up again next to me. And it was kind of hard to tell, like, is that Sean or is that guy? Because their jobs are kind of similar. It was taking off the doors. Like, I hang up a piece of paper and then he do something and then it messes everything up and they don't know who did it. And they didn't want to figure out that it was him, because if they figure out it's him, they got to fire him. He got too many write-ups. Well, the supervisor came up to me and he goes on the radio. He goes, hey, everybody on the radio, it's your favorite one. It's Sean again. And I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck. At this point, I was like, dude, I don't care what you say. After all this time, no, you've been saying all this stuff about me on this radio and writing me up. I'm like, they ain't done nothing. I don't care what you do. He freaking starts calling me out on the radio and saying that I'm stopping the line. And then I went to take the door off the truck and he freaking stood in the way of me taking off the door and hanging it up on the hoist. And I freaked out on this guy so bad. I just started screaming at this guy like crazy. Like, I think I finally just had a breakdown and it was just like, I was just swearing, I was just screaming F you like a crazy person, like real bad. And he was like, I'm calling your union rep down here because you're losing it. I was like, well, you're going to call my union rep? I was like, how stupid are you? How stupid are you? You think my union rep is going to come down here? You fucking retard. I don't think you can say that on YouTube. But anyway, the union rep was like, go for Jim or whatever. And the union rep was like, okay, I'll be right there. And he just never came. I was like, I told you, you idiot. And then after that shit happened, man, that guy never talked to me again. And honestly, I think after that, I think the next day, I just didn't go back to work for 3-4 months.
I'm surprised you took a whole year of that shit.
Let's see what DS has to say about this. We had 2 people comment in over here in 3. He hears, and I don't know if this is true, but being that you have been an insider, is it true that you can get pretty much anything you want in the plant, like jerseys, pirated movies, DRUGS?
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Toys.
He's asking about the
shoes.
inside activity amongst the plant workers. Like,
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be. It used to be like hookers and stuff were in the plant, like in the grounds.
Like its own little black market, man.
Well, look at the
You mean
map.
like an 8 Mile where they had the hookers in the stamping plant?
Do
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
know
it was like that. That's
Eminem?
exactly how it
Wait,
was.
is this like open to the public? Like, I'm not asking about the hookers, but
The
like,
plant used to be open to the public. The whole
but like,
plant,
is it like, can people just walk in and get stuff? Like,
they used to be able to back in the day, but now it's all fenced off.
You
Okay.
remember that? You remember
Is the fence to keep them in or to keep them out?
If there was no
You're
fence,
treating
so-
them like
okay, so-
animals.
So here's how it used to be.
Stop eating bugs.
If there was no fence, people would just come in. But at the time when I was there, there was a bar called the Mustang Inn.
If you
And
only
you were
knew,
like a-
fellas.
If you were a tag relief person, you got an hour and a half lunch. You could leave the plant and you can go to the Mustang Inn, and it was a topless bar, and the girls were very nice looking. You could sit there, have a couple beers, and eat a burger, whatever. Look at these girls or whatever you do. I just looked at them. I never really like. Type of relationship or nothing with them. But I
Did you
imagine
say
some
an
of them
hour and a
workers-
half lunch?
You get it, yeah. So that's what, yeah. You get an hour and a half lunch.
Hey,
and
man,
you
perks of being
go get your
union.
lunch. No, well, so with a tag relief guy, you giving everyone breaks. Their break to go to the bathroom and not. Well, it's not even the bathroom. It's to you get a 10-minute break. You get a 20-minute break. Well, if you're the tag guy, all of your breaks are right at lunch, before and after lunch. So you combine all the breaks, so you get an hour and a half of lunch. You're getting a break too. You're putting it with your lunch.
You're talking about 2 15-minute breaks and an hour lunch. You're combining the 2 15
No,
minutes
you get,
with your
so
lunch.
everyone gets a 30-minute lunch in the plant. So as a tag relief, you get a 30-minute lunch too, but you get a 20-minute break in the morning and you get a 10-minute break in the morning. So that's you put
60
your
minutes.
you put your 30 minutes in the afternoon. You get I want to say 20-minute break, 20 to 24 minutes, depending on how long of a shift it's going to be.
So you just take all yours at the same time.
you take it all at the same time, combined with your lunch.
Oh,
What point do they get work done? Like, I mean, you're taking a whole hour and a half out. Like, when do you work?
those
So
poor
you
people's
come in-
trucks, man. I feel bad.
If you want to get an hour and a half lunch as a tag guy, you got to come into work, start your tag route. You can't stop doing your route. You have to grind it out for like 4 hours straight without peeing, without nothing. You just gotta no bathroom, no nothing, and the work is different. You don't stop moving for that whole time. Like you're literally like you guys take breaks too. You just don't know it. Like in the plant, there ain't no break. Like you are going. Period.
Thank goodness for flat rate.
Mm. Well, I had that dude pop up that's been with the UAW for years and years and years and years, and I'm not going to drop his name, but he was like, I'm going to tell you some confidential stuff, and you could tell the story, but just try to keep my name out of it. And he was like, back in the day, my mother and my father-in-law used to be part of all the shenanigans that were going on at the plant. And he was like, down underneath the plant, there's like a supervisor's room where a dude had cash in his desk and stuff like that. And he was getting a cutback from the union for giving the guys so much overtime and keeping the overtime up. And if he would do that and he would keep them on overtime longer, then he would get a certain percent back from the union reps. So the supervisor would try to make sure that the overtime was always being pushed to an extent, and then he'd get cutbacks on it. And then they started doing where some of the supervisors and the bosses and stuff, they wanted a little female entertainment going on. So they started putting their own rings together in these plants where certain people could come and pay for services. And there was even talk of minors being involved to an extent. And then his father-in-law was the enforcer to make sure the money made it from the managers and supervisors to the bank. And once all this started becoming public, they actually did a deep investigation in this, and the police came in, and basically the plant got shut down once they figured out what was going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Stuff like this has been going on for years, though, that people don't talk about or they don't even know about.
Dude, I'm sure that kind of stuff is going on in the plant where I was working.
Yeah.
I just wasn't doing nothing, man. Aside from going to Mustang from time to time. And I don't drink, but I had a couple Michelobs there.
I mean,
You know?
we find them in the trucks when they show up at the dealership. We know.
Y'all really?
Well, no, dude, I didn't bring them in the plant though.
Yeah. No, I've had liquor bottles, like multiple people sitting in the truck. You can tell in different spots having lunch, extra parts for other cars in there, extra parts for the vehicle that you're actually working on, like the caps that go over the bolts for the seats. There'll be like 8 extra ones inside the truck for no reason. Like
What the hell are
somebody,
these for?
yeah,
They're
like why are there
they're
so many
drugs
extra seat
and-
caps?
I missed it. Let's just throw it in this truck.
And they do a good job too, actually. I've never really
Hmm.
seen a drunk in the plant doing a bad job. I've seen
Oh
a
yeah,
drunk-
you mean like functional drunks?
yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Okay, go away.
Some of the other drugs can be a problem. Marijuana hasn't really been a problem. Like guys who come in smoking marijuana and they're okay.
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of stories where people are like, dudes are smoking, like they have their little nooks in the plants and stuff where they can go kind of sneak off to if they want to hit their THC,
Absolutely.
like their vape pen, or they want to smoke a doobie or something real quick, or they want to drink or something like that. They'll go do
Absolutely.
it. But then other guys have told me, bro, we've been on the line working, everybody's slamming stuff out. Next thing you know, you look down the line and there's this dude like hanging over the damn conveyor or something like that. Like OD, the paramedics are coming in to pick this dude up to take him to the hospital.
Oh, he
To
had
get him
that hair
cleaned
on
up.
lean.
More than likely, you just see a paramedic because someone just freaking fell out. You know, just,
so
people just have. There's so many people there. You're gonna see a heart attack or something like that happen like regularly. Just from
I mean, it's just think about it, DS, like the stories that you know, and then this is happening not just in the union, this is happening at factories across the United States, this type of stuff happening. How many people like are doing this that maybe the reason they're turning to substance is because their life sucks, maybe they're not making enough money, who knows what the reasons are. But a lot of this is inferior parts and the quality of people that are working, that are putting the stuff together. I mean,
it's people, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's the company's fault because
yeah.
those people, it's the company. Some of it's the union for protecting
going to bed?
people. Sometimes the union's not really protecting, but it's the company. They need to have a higher standard. The union too. They need to do something about getting, people out that just don't want to do a good job. Now, at the same time, sometimes it don't matter who you put in that position, it's too much on that job. It happens a lot.
I want what's best for the workers at the end of the day, but ultimately the consumer, I think, is, to me, it is going to be affected by it the most. I don't think there's any other way to put it. There's bad stuff that happens in all businesses. It's just how you manage it. And I do agree that management is a huge problem in these, but I feel like the union enables a lot of laziness and they protect people. All them guys that got fired at the Chrysler plant for doing all the drinking and stuff on the job years and years and years ago, then they all get fired, and then the union brings them right back, like not even a week later or something like that, and they all got their jobs right back.
Little 313.
So funny.
Ah, DS, dude, you. Hey, this is Cheddar Sean. Welcome everybody. We got Cheddar Sean from the shelter. He's got some rap battles going on.
Why you guys tell me Cheddar Sean?
That's funny. I like that.
The comment section is ridiculous.
Stupid.
That's so funny.
Free world, 313.
Horse Monkey says, "How the hell do you function on weed? Only thing I want to do is cuddle my 7-pound dog, and we eat Cheez-Its in bed and watch YouTube."
I don't know.
There's people that can't function
I'm
off
not
of it.
I'm not a weed smoker. I don't know. But I do know this. There was a kid, I won't say his name, but he was doing a job a little bit better than me, and he was smoking a ton of weed. And I'm sitting here like, how does he even?
There are
No,
some people that are
he
like
wasn't-
that.
He wasn't
Mhm.
doing my job better than me, but
I worked with a dude at a body shop that was a fiberglass boat repair. He repaired the holes on the boats, and he had to drink every single day when he was at work in Arkansas. And this dude did amazing work. If he wasn't drinking, all of a sudden his hands would get to shaking and stuff like that, and he'd tire out much faster. But if the dude was drinking, he could work all day, no problem.
Wow.
No, I can't. I probably wouldn't be able to function on weed. I could drink a little bit at work. Like if I were to go to the Mustang for lunch and drink like 2 beers. I don't really drink heavy anyway. Then I can still
Mm-mm.
work. I don't know. I don't drink more. I never really drank.
I'm awful. If I have a beer, I'll wait to the bottle. I'll drink to the bottle starts flaring out to the body of the bottle. Okay. Yep. I'm good. You can go ahead and have the rest of that.
Do you ever
This is-
do beer? Yeah, I've done beer. Used to do beer.
I would need to
Good
make
beer.
3
I
combos.
drink good beer though. Like I drink good beer like a Heineken. And
No, I
Stella.
wouldn't even try to drink a Heineken and go to work.
Stella
Heineken.
Artois. Stella's good.
I think
Still-
it's
What?
important for us. Hey, I think it's important for us to point out in people that watch this video after it loads that by no means are none of us saying that we don't want employees taken care of or we don't want union workers taken care of. We just want the right thing for people that work at the places and the consumer at the same time.
Yep.
That's ultimately that's what it is at the end of the day. And however that has to happen, I don't really care. As long as the consumer doesn't have to suffer in the aspect of it, I want what's best for the worker too. So I want to be the bad guy. A lot of people think I'm like anti people working in these factories and stuff, and I'm not. There's a purpose for them. They are a huge part of why the world goes round and why things are made and how we get the things that we have in our daily lives. But do your job. Don't be a jackass. Do your job. Stop being a lazy fuck. Go to work and act and work.
At the same time, you look at what the bigwigs are doing, and they're doing things to make the company look more profitable, which means people don't have jobs or raises or benefits. It's really hard to feel bad for the OEM manufacturers, the OE guys. It's really hard to feel bad for them.
They're taking advantage of people. They're using.
Oh, yeah.
They're using. So it's. I think that money should be divvied out amongst the people that work there, but is it really enough to make everybody happy? You know,
It's clearly a lot of money because it was just in my possession today. Look behind me on my screen. That truck right there, $70,000. I just worked on a truck today, a 23, a 23, very similar to mine, $99,600. You mean to tell me you jacked up the price of the trucks in 3 years, 10 grand a year?
you got it.
No way.
Is it $30,000 better of a truck?
No.
Well then,
No.
Max recline seats. Okay, so the seats go all the way back. What else did it have? 360 camera, supplemental heat, winch, Vista.
It didn't have nice headlights, though, did it?
It had nice headlights, incandescent rear tail lights.
Yeah, but those
I
new
don't
headlights-
get all this. Can we just go back to 90s trucks? Like, we don't need all this stuff. Just,
Man,
I mean,
Let's create a
do you need a
create a car company using the Tesla or the Edison Motors model. Like we don't have to build them electric, but like we can just rebuild S10s and Ford Rangers, and people will buy the things
Oh.
left and right.
oh yeah, you could restore one and make them 0 mile 20-year-old vehicles, and there'd be a line out the door at $25,000. Be lines out the.
Who was the company that was supposed to be doing that already? There was a company called Mutiny or something like that. There was a guy on social media and he bought a old Lincoln Ford warehouse plant back in the day, and he started storing school buses in like Michigan or Wisconsin or something like that. And he would take those school buses and turn them into like sightseeing buses, and then he got more buses and more buses, and he started becoming like rich. He started becoming a millionaire, and then he bought this factory that still had all these old Lincolns and Fords still in there. With some of them still had engines and stuff, and there was all kinds of stuff. And he was like, "Well, so here's the plan. I'm going to call my company like Mutiny or something like that." I think if you Google car company Mutiny, something like that comes up. And his whole principle was he wanted to take like old 90s model and late 80s model square body Chevys and Fords and stuff like that and update some of the technology so it was more modernized, but leave it very, very simple where the consumer could easily find all their own parts, could easily work on their own vehicle and stuff like that. And there was no like, 40 computers on board or 80 computers on board. It was like 2 or 3 computers. It was all basic stuff, just like it was, with just maybe more efficient. But that was the model, and I haven't heard anything about it in over a year.
I mean, if I could go out and buy a brand new old Mazda truck, not the Ranger one, but the actual Mazda truck, I'd pay 25 grand for that if I could buy one of those and everything was brand new.
Hell yeah. Hell
Man,
yeah.
that was
Don't
a
get
great-
me wrong. I like the new stuff, but I don't mind driving a 20-year-old vehicle. I don't care that the vehicle's got 400,000 miles on it. It's I'd sometimes just rather just drive the old shit. You know what I
It gets
mean?
from point A to point B, right?
Yeah,
know
I
what
mean,
I
that's what
mean?
most people buy vehicles for.
It's easy to drive, it's cheap, those older cars, they're not like, you don't have to, like, for example, it's annoying to take the full-size truck down the road to the gas station. Like if I got to leave work and go get something, I hate to start my truck and drive down there. The thing weighs 9,000 pounds to go a mile and a half. It's ridiculous. But to have something just older and smaller and efficient, it gives you options to do something differently with. And we don't have that option in the new car market anymore. What are you going to get, a Buick Enclave or an Encore, that little egg looking thing? We don't have something simple. We don't have golf carts that we can take on the highway anymore. It's gotta be elaborate with, 10,000 bells and whistles. We can't just have something for a utility.
Oh, half the stuff
That's-
is mandated in and nobody wants it.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen people back into somebody and they're like, well, I didn't see you on my camera. Like somehow not like looking at the screen replaces looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And going back to that camera, anything 2018 or newer has to have a backup camera.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're in 23 now. It doesn't specify that it has to be HD or not. It just says that it has to have a camera that comes on, we put it in reverse.
Yeah.
You guys noticed when you get into these new vehicles, they somehow figured out how to make the vehicle aware of who's sitting in the seat in each seat and if they're wearing their seatbelt, whether or not they're
Oh.
sitting.
It's a weight
Very-
sensor.
I mean, they
Yeah.
can tell if your eyes are open.
Yeah.
Camera, yeah.
There's a couple sensors built around the steering wheel and driver door, and then some in the center, in the upper console area.
They know if you're
Well,
holding the steering
I
wheel or
got
not.
I got an XL F350, and the truck's telling me like, oh, someone's sitting down, someone put on their seatbelt or took it off. Warning. You get the seatbelt warning. It's giving me that for the passenger and the rear occupants. Bing, 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 and it's
And
like,
here's that company that I was just talking about. It's called Mutiny. Our mission is to revive a once great car factory in Detroit with thriving jobs that pay a thriving wage, worked by industries people who want to build the future together. So they bought this old factory,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
and they want to make very, very simple brand new vehicles out of it that anybody can afford and anybody can fix with parts that are not hard to get. They're very affordable, and there's no secrets to how this door comes apart or how this intake manifold comes off of this engine.
And there's no new tooling where you have to go buy a socket set just to pull a seat out because
Right.
what we've been using for the last 20 years was insufficient.
Right.
I
And
mean,
I
like
just
an EP60 or whatever they are for the Super Duty beds.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. I like why must they change things?
I don't.
Because if they don't change things, then the engineering teams don't have a job.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's legislated that they get to change whatever they want to maintain relevance, so they don't design something where they no longer have a job. Planned obsolescence is real.
oh yeah, I've torn down enough late model engines, I could tell you that.
Old, the old, I think, is the way to go.
What?
I'll
I
keep
think
my
about how-
97 and my
That's
02.
why I own, that's why I own all old vehicles.
Yeah,
Times have changed. And we're slowly adapting as an industry. We're slowly adapting as a community, because this is you know the trucks, the diag equipment, parts, everything that is going to be applicable to fix these trucks and keep them on the road. We have to keep up with that. And it's almost a daily, monthly thing that we got to stay on our toes. Fluffy knows we got to stay up on our training. The next TSB's bulletins coming out so that we could be ready for that next curveball that they're going to throw at us. And it's I don't does anybody have a Cyclone for sale? We're looking for a Cyclone,
I
a
know.
whirly Cyclone,
Will a typhoon suffice?
a Typhoon, preferably a Cyclone. I like tools. I think we're going to wrap it up here tonight, everybody. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We had some special guests. We had Fluffy. Make sure to check his channel out. We'll put I put their links here in the comments. So make sure to check out their channels. Stop by on Friday. Friday we have some more lights. We're putting on that truck right there in the back behind me, and I am excited to turn them on and show you guys. Big things coming to the channel. I'm excited to take you guys along for the ride. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Eric, I Do Cars, Cliffy Whiffy, Ford Boss, DS, Rainman, Peter Fortech, Fluffy, CP's, Krautster. Krautster's there. He's driving. He's got that 58 footer. Everybody, thank you. We'll see you. See ya.